As far as I know, Florence, this is your debut in running away from an explosion. That scene did not exist in Little Women. No matter how many times I watch it, I want it to happen, but it never happens. Is that your I'm in an MCU film moment? There must be a bunch in the experience of this where you're like, okay, this isn't the run of the mill way to
Oh
make
my
a
God,
movie.
of course. Yeah, when that happened, I remember I was running straight towards the stuntsmen because we were on this slippy surface and they were there ready to catch me for when I needed to stop. I did it, and I remember as I did it, I ran into Troy, who had been training me kickboxing, and he was like, "You just did your first running away and don't look at the explosions." And I was like, "Yay!" I ran away from explosions and I didn't once go, "Oh, shit." I just kept
Like,
on.
did you see that?
Did you say that? Did I look cool? Which I did actually do that. I did ask that when I finished it.
Do you think
yeah,
that if there was a big explosion, do people do they look back if there's a big explosion?
Yes.
Really?
Do they? I feel like you just
gotta
gotta
be like, "Oh my God, is anyone hurt?"
See,
You were
Scarlett
like
and I
that
are
while-
selfish. We're just trying to get away from it. We're like, screw that. We're out of here. Congratulations, guys. Congratulations, Scarlett. Finally, we have the Black Widow movie. Florence, welcome to the MCU. Let's begin with you, Scarlett. At what point over the years did you look around at your Avengers friends and say, all right, this guy's got a movie, this guy's got a movie? Was it something I said? What's going on here? Did you take it personally?
You know, I've spoken to Kevin Feige about the idea of a standalone right around the time that Avengers was coming out. We were doing a bunch of press for it, and he had talked to me about it. I never assume anything. I never think anything's ever gonna get made till I'm like eating craft service on the set, and even then, I'm still like, wait, we're gonna come back tomorrow, right? That's just not the way I operate. And so I don't know, I never felt, unless there was a reason to make Black Widow standalone film, you know, I was happy to kind of continue to peel away the layers in all of those collaborative films with everybody. You know, this wasn't like a given to make this movie. It was one that we made because we wanted to, which is right. The best kind. You're not obligated, you know.
In retrospect, does the long gestation period, like, how did that help this film in a way? I mean, I guess one evidence is that lady that's in that other Zoom box on the screen, because 8 years ago, maybe Florence isn't in this film. But what are the advantages of having it gestate this long for you?
Well, I don't think, you know, we could have made some other version of this film along the way. It just wouldn't have been this movie. I think I didn't have the same perspective of 10 years of time, you know, to draw from. And, you know, this film had many different iterations. You know, it wasn't a story that we were obligated to tell. And so, you know, it started out, and there was a version of it that was very sort of status quo, you know, Yelena and Natasha are adversaries and Yelena's trying to dethrone her, you know, that like whatever spy kind of espionage version it was. And I was like, I cannot go back to work for this. And then there was, you know, another version that I developed that was really existential, kind of weird, and Kevin Feige was like, I don't think I can come into work for this. And,
I'm a little intrigued by that one, I'll be honest. I'm a little bit intrigued by the existential Black Widow movie.
Yeah, that was weird. It was weird. I liked it. But and then when Kevin had, you know, he had this idea to make a film he wanted it to be about family and this like sort of dysfunctional family. And that was his, you know, I don't know, he woke up one day and that was his thing. And it took me a long time to wrap my head around it. For obvious reasons, but I don't think we would have been able to get to where we got to if we did this at any other time. You know, there was just no way to explore all that stuff without knowing what we knew after 10 years.
One of the great moments of the film is Yelena kind of giving Widow some crap about her superhero pose, which I adore that moment. And I'm sure it's going to go over huge with audiences. But you're not alone in that, Scarlett. Every superhero, let's give your co-star some crap. Which of the Avengers do you think should be razzed on a little bit for their superhero poses? They've all got it. They've all worked on it.
Hemsworth, 100%. Are you kidding me?
What's
with
the
that
Hemsworth?
Hair, the hair and the whole, all of it is the hammer and the whatever. He's got it. Come on.
The hammer and the thing.
The hammer and the hair. Cape.
But Tony Stark has the little hands, the little penguin hands.
that only Downey
That's
can make
true.
look
He's got the
cool.
penguin hands.
What's your signature superhero pose, Florence? Have you perfected
Well,
yours?
that's been a big discussion. I mean, that the whole me taking the piss out of Scarlett's pose was because on set, in the stunts rehearsal, the stunties were like, and we've got to figure out your pose. And I was like, oh, cripes, I have to have a pose. I don't, like, what's realistic? How should you land? And they were like, oh, well, none of the superhero poses are correct for landing.
No.
And I was like, yeah, what's Scarlett's? I mean, surely that would hurt. And they were like, oh yeah, if it was a real person and she landed, she'd have so many broken bones. And I was like, oh, does Scarlett know this? And I remember just being so shocked that everybody would die if they landed the way that they landed. And so I went on set and started being like, Scarlett, your pose, you know, it's... Anyway, I started taking the piss out of her. And Eric was on set, the writer, and he put that right in. And
He was like, I'm sorry, I've been listening to this and I love it. And I was like, there we go. 10 years of work, flush it down the toilet. These kids come in, they...
10 seconds of me prodding you the wrong way, and we get juicy material.
Amazing. Well, maybe your signature move, Florence, is what you started off that answer with, just the, like, you land and you just kind of like, you're wrestling with it. Yeah.
I would love to have a pose. I mean, obviously I'd love to have a pose. I think that would be a nice wink, but I don't know. I honestly, I think I've been now so terrified of it being posy after I made such a joke about Natasha being posy that now I'm like, oh, maybe I should just walk into rooms. Maybe that's my thing.
Like a normal human being. Unfortunately, exactly, with that noise, you have to make that noise when you do it. Unfortunately, it is sadly noteworthy that this is a film led by not one female, but, dare I say it, two, and we should count Rachel Weisz in there too, and directed by Kate Shortland. This is a different movie, fair to say, if you're surrounded by dudes in every facet. Is that safe to say, Scarlett?
Yes,
I mean,
that is safe to say. Yes, for sure.
Was
It'd be
that
ignorant to think that doesn't make a difference. But
Of course. But how did that, was that like a part of the mission statement? Like, if we're going to do this, we're going to do it right, and we're going to create the right kind of environment behind the camera and in front of the camera.
I don't think we went in with a mission statement exactly. To me, there were very few directors that I could think of to make this movie, and one of them was Kate Shortland. Who's a fantastic director and also a fantastic woman and a fantastic woman director. You know, the movie definitely is different because it's directed by a woman, and, you know, it comes from her experience, perspective, you know, all of those things. Yes, she's an artist who's a woman, and that comes through in her work. She was the only person to direct this for many reasons. I wanted the director to have made a masterpiece and some other great movies, and I think Lore really was a very perfect film. You know, I just knew that I needed Kate Shortland because of it. I just that was it. And then she also happens to just be a delightful person all around. She's absolutely delightful. I didn't know that until I met her, and then but she was very elusive. Kate Shortland is very elusive. Couldn't find her for a long time.
A woman of mystery, as befits. It makes sense for Widow, I suppose, right?
Yeah,
so I don't know how we managed to have two accomplished singers in this film, and the one person that actually ends up singing is David Harbour. That might be, I don't know. I need to talk to Kate, I suppose, about that. Have you guys bonded of your mutual love of singing? Scarlett, are you aware of the works of Flossie Rose on the interwebs?
Oh, I was a baby. Oh no, don't.
What's that?
Oh no.
Would you like to explain?
So my mum would videotape when I was really young, my mum would videotape my guitar lessons, and so that I would remember and I couldn't get out of not practicing them. And before I think we really understood what YouTube was, my mum put them on YouTube, and I ended up getting this really weird but cool following of people being like, oh my God, when's the next, song? And so then before I started acting, I thought I was going to go into music. And so I continued this YouTube channel for ages. And then I got my first gig and kind of, I still want to do it, but I definitely have left it on the sidelines a bit. But Flossie Rose was what my mum allowed me to be called, because she was like, we don't want to call you a real name. You can have your own name, and it's still part of your name because your name is Florence Rose. So, and my childhood nickname is Flossie. So she's like, how about Flossie Rose? And I was like, okay.
Cute.
I know.
Oh my gosh, I know what I'm doing after this.
I know.
Going down the rabbit hole.
Oh, I thought I was Elvis. I honestly thought I was Elvis Presley and Dusty Springfield. I was doing all the
Oh, I love it.
Carl, do you adopt a different moniker when you're doing a raucous karaoke night? Is it Fanny Longbottom, your name from this film?
I don't have a stage name. I need one.
Yeah.
Any suggestions?
Florence, what do you got? You're the writer on set, clearly.
I mean, it could be Scarlett Longbottom. I mean, that's kind of like best of both worlds.
Yeah, I'm not feeling that. Okay.
We're working on it.
All right. Okay.
I mean, how tied are you to Fanny Longbottom?
Me? Not at all.
Yeah. Oh, we can scrap that then. Okay, cool. Let's scrap that.
Okay.
Yeah. I was gonna do some other variations. I'll think on it, Scarlett. I'll get
Are
back to
you supposed to have? Oh no, wait. That's your porn star name. Is your
right? Okay.
your pet and your something?
Yeah.
It's like your pet and the last thing you ate and the day you, I don't know, found out. I don't know.
let's look ahead, ladies, because I'm curious. Florence, we are going to see you. I know we're going to see you in Hawkeye. I think that's official. Scarlett, I don't know if anybody knows if we're going to see The Widow again. But if this is it, if this is the end of the run, what's it going to be like for you to watch the Phase 4 films and all these Disney Plus shows? Are you going to be the person being like, we did it differently back then? What's your attitude? Is it kind of refreshing to kind of be a little bit removed going forward, or what?
Yeah, I'm definitely not. We did it differently back then. I'm not that generation. I think that's our parents' generation. I hope I don't. That's not in the future for me. I don't want to be that person. There's so much opportunity now, all different genres within this one. I'm excited. I'm excited for all of it. I mean, this is my Marvel family, and we're all rooting for each other. And I think when Lizzie was doing and Paul were doing WandaVision, it was just, it's so exciting to see. Yeah. What's coming up for everyone, and now for Florence and Renner, and there's so many great things in the pipeline. I love it when everybody succeeds. There's plenty of room for all of us to play in the sandbox. I'm happy to see the people that I love do great, exciting things. It's awesome.